So we have been talking about the strong black woman archetype, right? It's something that we are socialized by media, parents, and the communities to internalize and accept. Okay? It's a notion of strength that is central to our identities and is characterized by determination to succeed, self control, independence, and work ethic. Okay? And caregiving is also a part of the strong black woman archetype, right? And caregiving such as prioritizing others' needs, being self-sacrificing, and supporting families and communities. But all of this takes a toll on the mental health of black women. According to the Black Women's Health Imperative, the number of black women who report feelings of depression is slightly higher than white women. 3.9% of black women report feelings of sadness, and this is compared to 2.9% of white women. 2.4% of black women report feelings of hopelessness, and this is compared to 1.9% of white women. 1.8% of black women report feelings of worthlessness, and that's in comparison to 1.6% of white women. And in 2019, black girls in the grades 9, 10, 11, and 12 were 60% more likely than others to attempt suicide. And this is in comparison to their white peers. Now, it's not uncommon for black women to feel the need to muster up the strength to fight through these feelings alone or ignore them altogether. Black women have reported feelings of loneliness because they have valued being strong. Okay? And because they value being strong, they endure their misery in privacy. We mask how we really feel so as always to appear strong. Speaking for myself, I also feel as though there's no safe space. No safe space for me to just exist. No safe space for me outside of my bedroom. But no safe space for me to cry or show anger or show frustration or just be weary. And that leaves you feeling as though you have no support. And that's a very lonely feeling. So what are some of the factors, okay, that impact black women's mental health? Okay? Because remember, they are expected to possess unlimited strength in the face of stressful life events. But as we've discussed, it takes a toll on their mental health. Okay? Being a strong black woman can make you feel pressured to get over it, to push through it. All of this regardless of the toll that it takes physically and mentally. Now, there are a few unique factors that come into play when we talk about black women and their mental illnesses. Is exposure to racial trauma. How many watched the videos of Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd? How many black people watched the videos of Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd? How many black women watched the videos of Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd? I can tell you that I did not, because I just couldn't do it. Okay. Another factor are challenging life circumstances that are due to racism and sexism, both at work and outside of work. Because remember, we said that black women sat at the intersection of sexism and racism. Okay. And other factors are stressful life events, such as abuse or trauma. I read that Black women experience more trauma than other groups. Black women. Because, we're the least respected and the least protected. Remember? Remember Malcolm X? Okay. And then I added this one from my research. Another factor is the pressure to live up to the standards of being a strong Black woman. Because we've internalized it, right? So when we fail, we feel worthless, inept, useless. All of this takes a toll. Like we've been saying, all of this takes a toll on our mental health. Some of us just keep pushing through it, but they're pushing through it at a detriment to themselves. Black women experience higher levels of stress, anxiety, depression, and even greater instances of suicide and substance abuse. But they're not seeking help. Why? Can you guess why? Because we've talked about it, like on repeat. Yes, it's because of the strong Black woman archetype. Because remember, if a strong Black woman is seeking help, it is seen as a weakness. Okay? So much so that Black women believe that living with psychological pain is part of her role as the strong Black woman. And they don't usually consider mental or emotional pain as a health threat. They feel ashamed for seeking help. Okay? And I think I read that it was about 39% of Black women were more hesitant to use outpatient mental health services to seek help. In addition, Black women didn't believe that we were susceptible to depression. Okay? They felt that if a Black woman did get depressed, it's because of a weak mind, poor health, troubled spirit, or lack of self-love. Another reason why Black women tend not to seek out treatment is because of the perception of mental illnesses in the Black community. In the Black community, mental illness is associated with shame and embarrassment. There was a public opinion poll done in the 90s that showed that 63% of Black people believe that depression was a personal weakness. Another reason why Black women don't seek help, I know it feels like I've listed off so many because there are so many, okay? But another reason why they don't seek help is mistrust in medical professionals. Because let's be honest, let's be real. The medical field has done us dirty time and time and time again. I'm going to try not to get into it because I will get upset. That's for a later conversation, okay? Okay. And then, of course, we've got the myths about depression, okay? One of them being that you can pray your symptoms away. Yeah. About 90.4% of Black people reported higher use of religious coping compared to 66.7% of white people. Mental illness as seen as a failure in faith. You're not praying hard enough. You don't believe hard enough. You don't read your Bible enough. You haven't been to enough deliverance services. If I sounded bitter on that last one, it's because I was. I went to a lot. But, and yes, I am a woman of faith. I am. But I also believe that God made therapists for a reason. So yes, you should pray. And you should also seek treatment. And just a few more reasons that Black women tend to work jobs with little flexibility, so they have to choose between work and their own well-being. And then Black women prefer a Black mental health care provider, someone who has a shared life experience, somebody who understands, the racial aspect to mental health. Now, when I was, when I went to my doctor and I'm like, I need help, I was very specific. I said, I need a Black female doctor, because she could speak to the racial aspect of me and the gender aspect of me. And a lot of other Black women are the same way. Sadly, there are too few Black social workers, psychologists, and psychiatrists. There's just not enough.